I'm also going to be showing you guys how to modify your steering box to get a little bit better performance when you do hydraulic assist. So it's going to be kind of hard to show you guys, but up in here where your high pressure line goes in, right there, if you pull the line off, there's another nut behind it. You can take that out, and I'll show you guys when I pull that out. But so you gotta first take this hose off, and then there's another nut behind it, or whatever you call it, and you pull that out. It is spring loaded, so you gotta be kind of careful. But I'm gonna get that pulled out, then I'll show you guys what you gotta do to get a little bit better flow and a little bit more pressure out of your factory steering box. Alright, so once you pull this, this is what you pull out right here. And I actually pulled apart another box just so I had a spare one, just in case I mess it up, because I've never done this before. But so you got your spring, you got this thing, and you got this thing. So it comes out just like that. And what you want to do is, see that hole in there, you want to drill that hole out just one size bigger. So I went through my drill bits, and 1/8 inch, the first one that won't actually fit, so it just barely doesn't fit. So that's the one I'm going to use to drill that out. And then I'm also going to get a washer and put a washer down in there before the spring to get a little bit more pressure onto that. So that'll give it a little bit more pressure and a little bit better flow in theory. So I'm going to try that and let you guys know how it works. Alright, well, you're not really going to be able to tell, but this one's before it drilled, that one's after. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it is just barely bigger. So then that goes in like that. This spring goes in first. So before I put the spring in, I'm going to put a washer in. And you just want a washer. You can use this to kind of guide. You just want a washer. It's the same size or just barely smaller. So the spring will sit on that, down in there like that. Just give it a little bit more pressure on this spring. Should be a huge improvement. So yeah, I'm gonna get that stuff put back in. So my steering ram got here, and I've just been sitting here playing around with places where it could go. Before I showed you guys anything, I wanted to get figured out where it was gonna go. I think right here is my best option. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I'm gonna have to build like some kind of skid plate for it, so I don't hit it on rocks. I've trying to tuck it up higher, but every time I tucked it up higher, it was just in the way of other things. And this is gonna be the best for hose routing and just the easiest place to mount it, pretty much. So I think I'm gonna go for it right there, and I'll just build a little skid plate to kind of come out and protect it so I don't hit it on any rocks. Alright, so I got the steering all done. I got it bled and I got it welded up. So I don't have a skid plate yet. Made a pretty big mess. But we're gonna get it pulled outside and look at it outside and drive it a little bit and see how it feels. And I'll probably park it on Rusty again for a comparison, because that's the last thing I did with the radius arm. So get this outside. Alright, so I went on a little bit of a trail ride. Nothing crazy, we didn't film anything, just out with my brother. And there's some things I don't like. So, as you can see, I'm pulling it all apart again. I had the steering ram going from the diff cover to this, which I knew would limit my steering because, as you can see here, I have the high steer, the Barnes high steer here. This is the factory location of the knuckle. It's down here. It's where the factory tie rod goes to. But now it comes out here, 2 inches further forward. So I have an 8-inch ram. An 8-inch ram would work perfect right here. But I have it out here, so that's limiting my steering. So I had my ram, my old ram, going right to this bolt. The steering arm sits on top and the ram goes in the middle. So I think I'm gonna do that again, but the PSC ram came with this, which is a 5/8 hole. And I found this one just in my bin of Heim joints. That is a 3/4 that threads onto here, just like so. So I'll be able to put this onto there and go right to this bolt how I had it before, and then I'll build a skid plate for it over here instead of it being right in the middle. I really don't like it in the middle, and I really don't like it coming off the diff cover, so I'm gonna change it and yeah, make it the way I want it. So, this is why my stuff's nice. I always end up doing it twice. So my stuff's nice because I do it twice. Oh, but I think I'm going to be way happier with it if I can get it to work over here. So that's what I'm going to try to do. But I welded this on because I was going to put a plate here with some things. I got to cut this because I boxed it in so I could bolt this right on top without having a spacer in here. But now I need something right there, so I need to cut this plate off and put that Heim right there. So still not 100% sure on that because the fitting is touching right there. I don't like that. But the ram clears. It's close, but it does clear. And it clears back there. Everything clears. So yeah, and you can see, I mean, that is way better turning angle than I had. So I'm way happier with that. I already had this built from test fitting the last time, so I reused it, but I'm gonna have to still build some plates. I never finished it. I just tacked it together just to see if it was gonna work, but it wasn't. But now that I found this Heim joint that is a 1/4 inch bolt, it can go right there to the knuckle. So yeah, so I'm gonna get some plates cut out for that and fully weld that bracket up. Alright, so I got my CAD work done and I got it transferred over to some metal. So I'm going to get those plasma cut out and get that mount all welded up. And I think what I'm actually going to do, this will help a couple things. Instead of mounting this here, I'm going to mount it on bottom and make a spacer for it there. So it's not going to be as strong as if it was here, but it's still going to be plenty strong, and it's just going to be a little lower, which isn't the worst thing in the world. So I'd rather hit this than my steering ram, so it'll give it a little bit more protection. It'll clear this fully, and it'll give me a better place to route my hoses. So I think overall it's just going to be, that's the compromise I'm going to make. I'm just going to lower this down to there, and I'm going to cut a little spacer for that and just put a longer bolt in it, so it'll still be bolted to the double shear. There's the finished product. Sprayed some paint on there. It's flat black. The rest of the axle's gloss black, but I ran out of gloss, so whatever. I can always touch it up later or just leave it. It's gonna get painted again, you know. It's gonna get smashed into rocks and everything, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm gonna get the ram bolted up, and then on this side I already built the spacer and bolted this onto the bottom with a longer bolt, just like that. So I'm gonna get the ram bolted in, get the tie rod bolted up on the other side, and then steer it and see, make sure everything still clears. I mean, it did, and it should clear a lot better with this down here, so hopefully that works out good. So I'm gonna get that stuff bolted up and I'll show you guys the finished product.